What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our third and final main league here on the channel. It's been a very, very long time coming, but we are back here with the WCBL, the World Class Battle League here on the channel. Yes, I joined last season as a replacement, and I did fairly well for myself. I actually did really well. It was a team I picked up. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I did fairly well. I had like Torrent Gren and a whole bunch of other cool shit that was like really decent. But yeah, it was actually a really fun league, and I really enjoy a lot of the guys in it. They're all really top-notch battlers, so I'm really looking forward to taking a lot of these guys on again. I'm super excited. But we just finished the draft literally like 10 minutes ago for our division. So the way it's got now, I think we have, I'm not sure if it's 10 or 12 per division, or I think we have like 24 coaches in total. And what they decided to do was they decided to split us all into different divisions. Let me double check that so that I'm not wrong and I'm not steering y'all in the wrong direction. I don't know why I'm going on my phone for that. I can do that right here on my P-Sizzle. We're going to do that right here on my P-Sizzle. We're going to open this here WCBL Documente. And let's take a look, shall we? Let's just go to the... Where the fuck's the draft tab? What in the fuck? Everything's all different. There it is. We're on the draft tab. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 20 coaches in total, so we have 10 coaches in each division, drafting separately, and I believe battling separately, to be honest, actually, yeah. You battle just mainly in that division of 10. So, you'll be battling a lot of the guys, much times. It's a 9-week season, so I think it's like, you play everyone once. Yeah, you play everyone in your division one time, and then you go off into playoffs and such against the, you know, the guys from the other division. So we are a part of the Evergrande division. We are with Chukas Harto. We are with Antoine. We are the bunch of other guys. Our division's pretty stacked. A lot of really tough battlers, and it's going to be a massive struggle to beat our division. But the really cool thing about it is we ended up with the wheel pick, the last overall pick. We ended up with a wheel pick, so we were able to really stack our draft really quick and do a very good job of it. And I am so in love with my draft. You have no idea. My draft is awesome. And by awesome, I mean fat. I have a fat draft with some mons that can do some serious damage and some serious ass fucking if they really wanted to. This draft is probably one of my favorites that I've done in a long fucking time. Honest to God, this is probably one of my favorite drafts I've ever done. But, yeah, so, last pick overall, let's just get into it. I knew I wanted one thing in particular, and that was, a particular core I've been trying to snag for a little while. And I've been struggling to get it, and one of those components of that core is staring you in the face, and that's Finny Nut, the Tapu Fini. All my names are kind of meme-ish for the most part, except like a few that are either long-standing names or just names I just wanted to fuck with. But we got Finny Nut here. I don't really have any particular name. I used to call this thing Ariel, but that is a bad movie, and I don't want to deal with a Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is stupid. If I triggered you, fuck off. Anyway, we got Finny Nut here. Our Tapu Fini. Misty Surge, get that Misty Terrain up. You cannot Toxic Stall this bitch. You cannot burn this bitch. It's pretty fucking legit, which means I can also have that Misty Terrain up for the rest of my team. That comes into play throughout the draft a lot. This thing's just really good. Supremely bulky. 95 special attack and 85 speed are not bad either. This thing can still hit pretty decently hard. And having Nature's Madness as a way to chip through threats that can typically wall it, just chip out half of their HP right off the bat, is super, super legit. I actually have one of the things that typically walls Tapu Fini pretty well on my team as well, so that's really, really awesome. So, it's really, really nice. So we have a lot of bulk here. This thing also serves as a potential defogger for our team. It can set up Calm Minds. It can be Scarfed or Specs or something along those lines. It has Haze to shut down setup. It's Knockoff for support if I really need it. Dual Screens. Wait, Tapu Fini gets dual screens? You learn something new every day, don't you? That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. I like that. I do, in fact, like that. It gets Taunt to also kind of stall break a bit if it wants to. Stall break when I'm going to be the one doing the stalling. Hilarious. Crazy. But Fini Nut is only one part of this awesome combination that I've been trying to snag for so long. And that combination features a Dragon type. See, Misty Terrain weakens Dragon type moves. Now, obviously, if the dragon is grounded, it affects it. But Misty Terrain weakens Dragon type moves, right? Now, what would benefit most from that but another dragon? And one that doesn't necessarily always need to use its Dragon type stab to its advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Fini Zygarde. Zygarde 50%, Mr. Goodsnick here, and he's also going to be our first Z user. Because the way they ran the Z moves is they ran it with Z points like in the GBA, and so we have a Tier 1 Z user and a Tier 5 Z user. You will get to them way later on in the draft. But this is my second overall pick. I got this on the wheel, and it was super fortunate for me. I'm very, very happy I was able to snag this. You have no idea how amazing this mon can be for our team. Let's just go through a couple options, okay? First off, it has setup out the ass. Coil, Dragon Ants, etc., etc. That's great. It gets extreme speed for mega amazing priority, like one of the highest priority moves in the entire game of Pokemon. It gets Glare to paralyze things. This paralyzes everything that's not an electric type. And he doesn't have the ability Limber, I believe, or Kamala. But still, it has Haze to shut down other potential setup mons that might want to try to set up in front of it. So that's 2 Haze mons, by the way, right away. Don't fucking try setting up on my team. I'll beat you. Pain Split as a form of recovery. Gets Rest as another form of recovery. It's Sub. Sub is great for its setups. But this move right here, 1,000 Arrows. Grounds adjacent foes, first hit neutral on flying types. But that move right there is pretty much the only move that Zygarde ever really needs to click. Because what typically stops ground types? Grass types? Okay, we have an entire team to handle grass types with. Once we get rid of your grass type, what do? What do you have for Zygarde? Zygarde comes in, Zygarde gets set up, Zygarde cleans. And it's not even like I can't beat grass types with Zygarde. I have ways of beating grass types with Zygarde. I've done it before. It's not like it's going to be something that like I have to struggle with. It's something I can do, and it's something I can do fairly easily if I really, really try. And plus, look at its stats. Like, yes, it's 4 times weak to ice. First of all, my first mon is resistant to ice. Great. Also, my first mon is immune to dragon type moves, which is even better. So this thing can eat a dragon move under terrain, while also having a mon to switch into that's immune to dragon type moves. How fucking legit is that? But just look at its stats. 108 HP, 121 defense, 95 SPDF. This thing can tank an HP ice, especially non-stab HP ices. This thing can tank without even caring at all. This thing is so fat and so strong that it can just break through a team by itself without even worrying for a minute. That's why I love Zygarde so much. Now, the only real weakness we have so far. Now, mind you, also, this thing resists the poison type weakness of Tapu Fini, as well as being immune to the electric type weakness. So far, the only two weaknesses we have that are unresisted are grass and fairy. Well, what resists both of those? I mean, we're already building it. We already got a fairy and dragon. Might as well grab our steel, right? So we grab a tier 2 Mega next time around of Mega Aggron. Gajeel, the Mega Aggron. The long-standing name of Gajeel. Gajeel has been on this squad. Has been on these squads of ours so many times in the past. We have him currently in the PTL. And why not have him here? That base 70 HP is backed up by a ridiculous 230 defense stat. That shit does not die on the physical side. I've built several matchups against super strong ground types. Banded, I just have to be impish with some investment, and I can eat banded earthquakes from Mons. I can eat Life Orb. I can eat banded earthquakes from stab earthquakes from strong ground types. I can eat plenty. I can eat flare blitzes from fire types. I can eat whatever I want. And the 80 SPDF stat, you'd be shocked. You invest properly in that SPDF stat, you can take some special hits pretty fucking nicely. Like, yeah, it's not fast, but number one, it's a good stealth rock setter. Okay, very good stealth rock setter. Number two, gets fairly decent coverage for the most part. Gets all the elemental punches. Right? Gets taunt. Gets toxic and thunder wave, so good for support. It gets setup options if I need to. If I need to run a setup Mega Aggron, then hey, there's an option. Like, this is just a very, very good, very ridiculously strong Pokemon that can do so many things for this team. And this is probably, in my opinion, one of the absolute best Fairy Dragon Steel cores I've ever seen. I am very, very happy to have this. I'm just so excited to have this. I'm so excited to have this Mon. Oh, this is just going to be so fun. This league is going to be so much fun just because of this core. Because of how fat it is. Speaking of fat, though, for this league, last season, they unbanned a couple forms of Deoxys. And this season, they kept it the same. And I faced one of them that was ridiculously fat and a huge pain in the ass to take down. And so, what do you do when there's something you just don't want to face? You draft it. And I always grab myself a bulky psychic type for my team. So why change things now? I grabbed Deoxys Defense. Now, yes, 50 HP, it's not that good. Not really good at all. Base 160 in both of its defense stats, that's amazing. That is beyond amazing. It's got base 90 in its speed, which makes it even better. This thing is fairly fast. So, in comparison, Too Thick here can outspeed a few things. Yes, its offensive stats aren't that great, but it's not out here to kill things. It is out here to brick break for screens. Get rid of those screens. It is out here to set up the screens, because we can run dual screens on Deoxys Defense. Why not? This thing's out here to set up Stealth Rocks and Spikes. It is an amazing hazard setter, probably one of the best ones in the game of Pokemon. It is an amazing staller between Thunder Wave and Toxic and things like Seismic Toss. Seismic Toss, does it get Nightshade? It does get Nightshade. Between moves like that, plus the hazards, plus the support moves of Toxic and Thunder Wave and such, this thing can just whittle through any Mon it really wants to. And with access to reliable recovery and recover, rest, just about whatever I find necessary that week, this Mon just doesn't die. Plus it has extreme speed. Okay? It has extreme speed. Like, yes, its attack stat sucks. But, something's chipped pretty down low and you don't want to take any more damage from it. Click extreme speed on it. Boom, it's gone. Problem solved. Immediately. And the best part about this thing too is it has pressure. So with pressure, they're using 2 PP instead of 1. And that's probably the best ability on a bulky Pokemon, because you can PP stall seriously big moves on opponents. You know, I can eat some... Alrighty then, well that's annoying. Alright, so get cut out a bit there, but regardless, yeah, pressure will allow us to PP stall some seriously big, high damaging moves on our opponents, because we are fat enough to eat those highly damaging moves and not give a flying fuck. So this thing is going to be really fat, really bulky, and a huge threat to any of our opponents, and something that they're going to have to bring very specific things to take out each and every week. Like, this is a mon that's going to force a lot of specific prep, and specific prep against a team like mine is devastating, because our team has a lot of things that need to be prepped very specifically for. So that's really cool. That's why I like this draft so much. So we have this. Now, I'm detecting a theme with my team of mons that are ridiculously fat. Now, this is the only typing overlap I have on my team. And this is one that I don't even feel bad about. Yes, it's another 4 times weakness to ice, but it's also another defogger. It's also another stealth rocker. It is another stupid fat mon. It's a great stall breaker. And, in my opinion, probably one of the most fun mons to play with in the game. And by fun to play with, I mean fun to sit and rage against, as it just sits there and laughs at you the entire time it heals health. That is Bruce Wayne, the Gliscor. Yeah, we drafted Gliscor. Why did we draft Gliscor? I don't remember, to be fair. I really didn't think this one out as much. I forgot that I completely just derped, and I wanted to grab something real fast. So yeah, we grabbed Gliscor, but also look at our team. We have Deoxys Defense, who eats anything, and we have Gajiel and Finny Nut, who don't care about ice-type moves. So, like, having 2 mons on an entire draft 4 times weak to ice, having 3 mons in total will get there, that are weak to ice at all, that's fine. I'm not even worried about that. Like, this mon itself is just good. Like, Poison Heal, first of all, healing 1/8 of its max HP each turn when poisoned. No HP lost. So just slap a Toxic Orb on it, and it's great. And with Ultra Sun and Moon, you can put a Toxic Orb on it, and this bitch can run Defog with Poison Heal. What the fuck? It gets knockoff, which is great. It gets access to Elemental Fangs, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, etc. So those can be really useful if needed. Does it get Thunder Fang? Hey, it does. But gets U-turn for momentum, gets Toxic and Taunt, so it can stall break. It gets SD, so if I need something to be a setup variant, like I said, it can get Stealth Rocks, Roost for reliable recovery outside of the Toxic, the other side of the Poison Heal, and just this mon is just so good. It's just so good. It's just so good. It's a very strong, very ridiculously hard to beat Pokemon. One that you just sometimes don't know how to deal with. And I'm very happy to have Gliscor on a team. This is actually the first time that I've ever used Gliscor in a draft league. The very first time. And I'm very happy I get to do it here, because this is a very fun league for me, and I'm really looking forward to diving in this season. Now, for the other half of the wheel pick, I wanted to grab my fast electric type, because I value that a little bit higher at this point, and a lot of the other coaches had picked up their grass types, they picked up their fire types and stuff already, so I wasn't too worried about finishing off my fire water grass core just yet. So I grabbed Speed Boy the Jolteon. This little speedy boy, oh my 130 speed with 110 special attack. This thing hits decently hard while being able to outspeed 99% of other mons. This thing is so ridiculous. Its Volt Absorb ability is amazing, provides me an electric immunity on top of the other 2 we already have. So Tapu Fini is never getting hit with an electric type move, unless I want it to. If I want Tapu Fini to get hit with an electric type move, yeah, it will. But this thing, the Tapu Fini will never die to an electric move. As far as I'm concerned, it will not die to an electric move. And at this rate, it's not going to die to a grass type move either. My team is so well built and it makes me so happy. This is probably the best team builds I've ever gotten. Oh, I love it. But Volt Absorb is great. Quick Feet is also fun if you want to use it. I've done it before. Don't judge me. Baton Pass is good for momentum if your opponent has a ground type that can easily... As I was saying in regards to Jolteon's move pool, it gets Baton Pass you can use in case they have a ground type that they could potentially switch in. You can use that to grab your momentum. It has access to Heal Bell, which is very, very interesting. It's not kind of a pseudo cleric. It's not a great cleric, but it's one I could potentially use if I find necessary. It could be very good just in case of, like, if I have room on the moveset. Like, if it could be a filler move, like Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power something, and I don't have anything else that I really find necessary to fit on this moveset. Sludge, Shadow Ball, or Signal Beam don't make sense. Just slap on Heal Bell so I can have something like that can really throw them off mid-game. This thing can also set up dual screens. This is my third dual screen setup on, which is totally hilariously cool. Some okay coverage moves. It also gets access to Wish, which is kind of fun. Again, could be just like a filler move some weeks, but Jolteon's just a really good Pokemon. I'm really, really happy to have it, and hopefully my mic doesn't cut out again anytime soon. But next time around, I told myself next time around I'm finishing off my Fire Water Grass core. 100% I have to do that now. It is time to do that. I'm not going to put it off any longer. It is time to finish that core. So, comes back around to me, and I'm like, alright, what kind of typings outside of just grass and fire could I really use? And I kind of felt like I could use a poison type, because I wanted something that could absorb toxic spikes, even though I have, the terrain that keeps me from being poisoned, and the two great, amazing top-tier defoggers so far that can get rid of them easily. But I wanted something that could just come in and absorb them and make sure they're gone, so I don't have to worry about that anymore, because I have Shroomzy, the Amoonguss. Shroomzy is back on the squad. This is one of the leagues that I actually fell most in love with Shroomish, because Shroomish just puts in so much work. So I grabbed Shroomish here again once, or it's not Shroomish, Shroomzy here once again. Very decently bulky, 114 HP, with a 70 and 80 in defenses. Slow, but that's perfectly fine. It's meant to be a fat mon. With Regenerator, this thing come in, take some decently good hits, spore something, maybe put something to sleep, clear Smog to get rid of stat boosts on something, and do a whole bunch of other great things. Foul Play, if I need to. I've done it before. Foul Play could break through some strong-ass mons. Nature Power, which means we have basically a moonblasting. We basically have a moonblasting Amoonguss. I know typically Amoonguss run a lot with sometimes with Tapu Koko, so Nature Power becomes Thunderbolt there. We can actually use that against other people with terrains as well. We can take advantage of that. So that could be really, really cool for us. So hopefully that'll work for us here. This thing's just a solid Pokemon all around. This thing gets Stomping Tantrum. Cool. That's an interesting little niche tech that I could totally do against somebody. That could be fun. Actually, it has some potential. I already got some plans in mind. But Shroomzy's back. Y'all know how good Shroomzy has been for us in the past, and I don't expect Shroomzy to do any worse here. Next up, I needed my fire type, and I also kind of wanted some dark type stab. Maybe a stab knockoffer instead of the other non-stab knockoffers in Deoxys and Gliscor that we already have. So, another mon that is, I believe, my first time drafting it in a league that I actually wanted to have it, because I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, this thing was actually on my team when I initially picked up the squad in WCBL last season. When I joined the league, it might have actually been on the team. I'm not entirely sure. I think they have old docs available to view or something somewhere. I'm actually going to look now because I'm really curious. Probably have it on the Discord server somewhere. But regardless, we picked up Randy Catvage. Huh, get it? Randy Savage, Randy Catvage. Haha, funny. Randy Catvage, the Incineroar. It's honestly, this is probably the one nickname that's probably going to change weekly, depending on which wrestler I'm just feeling that week. I just kind of went with Randy Catvage to start off with because that was the first one that popped into my head. You're going to see a lot of really bad wrestling cat puns because I'm a wrestling geek. So, yeah, just be prepared for that. Yeah, this thing's really, really cool. Unfortunately, it does not get Intimidate yet, which is really upsetting because I really wish I could just have Intimidate on Incineroar. Incineroar with Intimidate would be so much of a better Pokemon. So much fucking better. But 95 HP with 115 attack and 90 in both of its defenses is actually really, really solid overall. Is not bad by any stretch of the terms. Like, it can really eat some hits if you really EV it the proper way. This thing eats hits every day. It's beautiful. As well as being able to hit really hard. Also, having 80 special attack means you can actually potentially run it with special moves if you need to. And 60 speed isn't the worst. For like a bulkier, bulky offensive fire type, it's actually not bad. But this thing got a lot of cool moves. It's got Brick Break, Cross Chop, Drain Punch in Ultra Sun and Moon, as well as things like Low Kick and Super Power. Just really, really solid. Elemental Punches, some Elemental Punches with like Thunder Punch and such. It's got access to Flare Blitz, obviously. U-Turn for Momentum. SD if you can set up. Roar, 2-stop setup. Outrage. It gets Nasty Plot if you want to run a special set. Iron Head, Stab Knockoff it got in this generation with Usum. Leech Life, just so good, just so good. And Darkest Lair, which is really good. So it normally targets stat stage changes. So what that means is if my opponent for some reason has something out that might be weak to a Darkest Lariat, and they're setting up like Iron Defenses or some shit, or they got bulk ups, and oh shit, they're at like +6 bulk ups. I'm going to come in and I'm going to click Darkest Lariat and I'm going to OHKO. Because that +6 doesn't exist anymore to that Darkest Lariat, which is great. So this mon is very anti-setup, but it also hits really hard, has a lot of potential to do a lot of different things in this league, but it's also not a tier 5, so not my Z user. So we are almost to where my Z user actually is. We're going to get there very soon. But coming back around, once again, I determined to myself I needed 2 things. 1, a Rabbit Spinner. Just so I didn't have to just only run defog, so I can actually set up my own hazards and have to defog them away and then have to reset them and a whole bunch of other shit. So I wanted a Rabbit Spinner so that just in case I really wanted to hazard stack or something, I could actually have a Rabbit Spinner to keep them off my side of the field, as well as needing a Ghost type. So first off, the Rabbit Spinner, and I went with Flat Top, the Avalugg. Again, another really ridiculously defensive Pokemon. 95 HP, 184 in defense. Let's ignore the 46 in SpDef. Let's just ignore it entirely, because you're never going to eat too many special hits with this thing. You're not meant to. But 28 speed, really, really slow, but it can bulk out hits for a decent while. 117 attack as well. You run something like Avalanche because you're going to be slow as shit. So power doubles if the user is damaged by the target. You're going to get damaged by things a lot, so you're going to be able to fire off basically base 120 power avalanches on people. Earthquake is very common. Gyro Ball is good on it because it's so slow. Gets access to obviously Rapid Spin. It's a good Pokemon. It's just a good Pokemon. Roar is kind of fun on it as well. You can toxic things like this. It's bulky. It's just bulky. It's meant to be bulky. It's meant to, eat some hits and then remove your hazards. That's simple as that. So, hooray for our Avalugg pick. I'm really happy about having Avalugg. I'm really looking forward to using Avalugg. But yeah. Next up, we have our Ghost type. And the only other mod on our team besides Jolteon, who goes above base 100. And that is going to be Hermione, our Mismagius. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our second Z user. Hermione, the Mismagius, is going to be a Z user for our team. And what a Z user she is. Ladies and gentlemen, we will always be female. What's shiny looking like? Ugh, get it out. It's disgusting. But 105 in special attack, SPDF, and speed. Makes this thing a decent special wall. If I need to run it with like an Assault Vest, I could. Or something along those lines. Also giving it access to really hard-hitting special attacks and being faster than base 100s, which is always important. Levitate gives me a ground immunity, which is awesome. We already have a ground immunity in our Gliscor, so having a secondary one here as well to support the Jolteon, the Incineroar, and the Aggron is really, really important, really, really huge. Base 60 attack, we will never be taking use of that unless for some reason we need to run like Shadow Sneak or something, which we can do. We can definitely do that, so Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch or something along those lines. If we need to do that, we can. I'd just rather not have to do that. But if you look through some of the coverage that this thing does get, first of all, it gets Trick, which is always fun. Will-O-Wisp, Toxic, Thunder Wave, all the supportive statusing moves. Obviously, Shadow Ball for Stab. It gets access to Psychic, Power Gem, Perish Song. Ooh, stop them setup sweeps. Real quick, like. If you believe I'm not gonna... Does it get the move that I'm thinking of in the back of my head? Oh, it does. Ho, 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 I have strats. I have strats. I'm really excited about this Mon. I just got so much more excited about this Mon in the past 2 seconds than I was when I first drafted it. This hype. It's also got Heal Bell. I actually did not know that. So this is also kind of a pseudo cleric. We do have a cleric on our team, but this is like a pseudo cleric. So yeet. Foul play, because we're gonna be always having like minus attack nature and shit like that. It's Energy Ball. Obviously the hidden powers and such. Dazzling Gleam. But another couple moves it does get also is Inferno, but no one cares. Mystical Fire, which is better than running HP Fire. So like people tend to forget that this thing gets this. Also Magical Leaf, but Mystical Fire, base 75 power, which is totally actually better than running HP Fire every single time. People always forget that this move exists, but don't forget this move exists. It's really good. Also gets access to Shockwave as well. You're kind of fun. Thunder, you know, nice, cute. Zap Cannon, ya boy. Ya boy's out here. Access to... Mismagius gets Trick Room? Do I have anything else that gets Trick Room on my team? Do you get Trick Room? You do get Trick Room. Oh, baby. Oh, baby, my draft just got so much better. Oh, baby, yes. Please. Oh, yes, please. So I do have a slight Trick Room option with my team as well, which is kind of cool. Cool to notice that now. I'm really glad I noticed that now and not later. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. But, yeah, and then the last Mon we picked up. We had the final pick overall in the draft. I just wanted a normal type. I wanted to be nice and simple. I wanted a normal type. I wanted a Ghost Immunity. I do have 2 Ghost weaknesses and only 1 Resist. So I did want an immunity to, you know, keep from Ghost spams. And this is the true cleric of our team. And you know him. You love him. Tongue Game, the Licky Licky, is back with us here again. It's the boy. The boy Licky Licky is home. The boy Licky Licky is here. You guys know what he does at this point. Oblivious keeps him from being taunted, which is really, really good ability for this Mon, as it's mainly going to be a cleric. I was torn between either Meltank or Licky Licky for this, and looking over the two, not only does Licky Licky just get overall more moves, but it's just overall bulkier. Like, yes, Meltank has a higher, I believe, physical defense stat. It's either physical or special defense that's higher, but and it's obviously faster. Licky Licky has higher special attack, which gives it more options for coverage moves, and its defenses are equal. Well, so while it's losing out on one of its defenses, it's gaining a lot more in its other one. Like, I think Meltank's like base 70 in SPDF or some shit. It could be in physical defense. I don't know. I could be wrong. But regardless, let's find out right now. Yeah, base 70 in Spit F. Like 105 in defense, so I'm only losing 10 defense points, but I'm gaining 25 in Spit F and 40 points in my special attack. Just to sacrifice, what, some speed? Like, overall, this is just the better Pokemon. Period. So 85 in attack, 80 special attack can be used either way. 50 in speed doesn't really matter. This thing can eat hits for days with its ridiculous HP and defensive stats. This thing also gets Wish. This thing gets Heal Bell. Make sure that it actually just says Licky Licky there. Yoink. This thing gets Wish. This thing gets Heal Bell. Body Slam can cause Paras, Aqua Tail, Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail, Dragon. Explosion if I want to go boom boom. Earthquake, Fire Blast, Fire Punch, Focus Punch, Gyro Ball, Hammer Arm, Ice Beam, Ice Punch, Knockoff, Power Whip, Rock Slide, S-Toss, Surf, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Toxic. This thing's just good. It has coverage in just every area you can have. I'm so happy with this team. This is probably one of my best and one of my favorite drafts that I've ever done. So hopefully this draft can work out as well as I think it will. But that's going to be all for now, guys. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, and I am signing off.